Hey guys, I'm back here on the YouTube channel. Finally got this car, showed up today finally, and I'm gonna kind of walk through with you what I have to do to get this car. So this car's been through multiple shops and it's been hacked. The body, the only thing stock on it is the left front driver's door and the cowl and the windshield frame. The rest of it was bought from a company out of California or something like that, and it's crude. So for starters, this convertible top, as it sits down inside here, on the other side, this piece here actually sits on top of the body. And what they did, I think they pushed it in because when you put the fender on, is what I've been told, there's like a 14-inch leeway right here, and there's like a 1/4-inch gap, but the rest of the fender fits fine. So I think they shoved it in. But as I come back here, the chassis is set level to the ground, but the body is hiked up in the rear. As you guys can see, it's only supposed to be like a 1/2-inch spacer back here, and they've got it stuffed in there. So what I'm gonna end up doing, and that body line down there, that actually goes back uphill. So what I'm gonna end up doing is I'm gonna be cutting this car probably apart in sections. And I'm gonna try to do like almost a complete build on this deal for you guys. So I'm gonna end up cutting the B post from here, from the rocker on both sides, and cut the floor. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna let the rear carriage piece, I'm gonna let it sit down on my 1/2-inch spacers. I'm gonna tighten it down to the chassis. Then I'm gonna come up here and I'm gonna cut the fenders free from the cowl, and the cowl's gotta lean back because as you can see here, I got a huge gap. And according to some of the measurements and the way that rocker is actually going uphill, so this line, I stood back and I looked at the door gap, and I don't have my straight edge with me, but I'll grab it so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So that particular door line should be, I guess you'd say parallel or perpendicular, perpendicular to the ground. Check this out. You guys will, so I'm putting a square on the ground. I'm gonna line it up on the front side of the door so you guys could see it's pretty nuts, pretty flush. Check this out. Can you tell me how far that's off? I mean, that's just right here. And I'm only maybe halfway up the door. Once you get up here, that cowl right here has to come clear back to here to be almost, so it's almost 1.5 inch fall back. When it does that, the bottom of the firewall will have to kind of roll forward just a skosh. The front fenders will remain the same in the front, but it'll pivot from where it's at, which will drop this lower rocker down. And the reason I noticed this is when you stand back and you look at that vent, that vent's leaning forward. And I don't think anybody made a vent that leans forward that much. And it's the in between on the fender, it's a 3/16 difference. But standing back here, there's more than 3/16 there. So this is gonna be a pretty big job. I'm gonna end up cutting this whole car apart and basically putting it back together so everything fits. The driver's door is factory. The other door is, somebody made it out of California. It's pretty rough. Like the outside looks nice, but the reason why is another thing I've noticed. This sits perfectly parallel to the roof line, but they cut the A-pillar. And then they wrote this number down, and this side's lower, but that side somebody else hacked on. But I'm gonna go over there and I'm gonna show you guys what some of the stuff I get is unbelievable. So I'm holding this as parallel to this line as possible. And the vent window sticks above the front windshield frame. So I'm gonna have a ton of work to do, but I think it'll be a pretty cool deal that I can to cut this whole car apart and make it right. Because it's been through numerous shops, they all said they can do it. This guy's in this car a ton of money, but it's a 50-something Jaguar, and it's only like one of 6 with an automatic transmission. Most of this particular year came with a manual. So he has the original body. It was rusted and stuff in the back, and he ended up buying this, but I might end up just fixing that. I'm not sure yet. I gotta wait till I get all the parts. But I figured I'd show you guys some of the stuff that I get in here that people act like they know what they're doing. They don't even know where to pull a measurement from. They just jump in. But I think you guys will, I'm gonna try to shoot a lot of footage on this car. Maybe not so much of the cutting part, but once I get it separated and I get, you know, the back half mounted down and it's separate from the doors and vice versa, I could start showing you guys how I'm leaning it back, and then I'll go from there. But I think it's going to be pretty fun. I'm kind of excited. Their braces that they put in, they did all this. Last time I seen this car, it was on a 2x4 jig. It wasn't even mounted down to the chassis. And they were welding these fenders on and trying to hang these doors. So there's people out there that doesn't understand this whole thing. I strongly recommend, if you try to do something like that, you're gonna end up with something like this. Or you could just watch some of my YouTube videos. It may not be the same car, but I'm gonna show you how to correct some of this stuff that these people basically just garbage up. So stay tuned, follow my other social media pages. If you're not a subscriber, click the subscribe button down in the bottom, and we'll start on this thing tomorrow when I get some fenders, the hood, the deck lid, and stuff like that, and we're gonna dive into this thing, and hopefully you guys are along with me on the ride. Stay tuned.